I quit focus.
No, I didn't put Sonny Baker in. It was between Josh Tong or Sonny Baker. It was between those two.
Hello, Wicketers. We have arrived for the countdown and the hype towards the biggest Ashes series full time. We have finally arrived on October 3rd, 2025 on the Wicket Watchers channel. It will be Ben Stokes, England versus Pat Cummins, Australia. Down under, England's best chance to win down under in a long time. We will be answering all sorts of questions about this upcoming Ashes. Who's batting lineup better? Who's got the better bowling lineup? Who will be the key factor in both sides? We are here and we are ready. It's me, your co-host, main better co-host, Ollie Bloomfield.
Welcome back, Wicketers. It's your other co-host. I'm usually doing the intros, but unfortunately he's taken the thunder today. So it's Saran, as always. You know, apparently dubbed by him the second best co-host, which I defiantly disagree with. But anyway, like he said, this is England's ideally. Let's get this out of the way first of all. This is England's best chance of winning the Ashes in a long time, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, specifically in Australia, we've got to say that first.
Yeah, I forgot to add that part. In Australia, in hyphens.
Because we win it a lot in England, but yeah, it's our best chance. And am I confident? Yes and no, because yes, I am confident because we've been saying it's our best chance. The type of batting we're playing, the style of play is much, much better than the last few times we've gone to Australia. It gives us such a good chance. But there's always that thing with that. It's Australia. It's down under. The last few times not give us hope. We've still got a big problem, and it's probably our biggest problem to spin, and that's probably England's main weakness going to the Ashes, when Australia's main weakness is their batting. That top three is so worrying for Australia at this time.
And we will go into detail on that in a lot more due course.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to start off this Ashes content vibe with going straight into. So Australia's not announced their squad yet. We don't know when they're going to announce it. But England,
I think they're going to wait until the India A squad finish because they want to see their openers specifically from that. We're going to speak about I'll speak about the openers in a bit, but we're going to start with England first. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, because they have announced their squad down under. They are ready to announce it, and
I've got a little story about this. Ollie, on the day the squad was announced, I received a very angry message and a very angry voice message. If you'd like to delve into a bit of lore on that.
Yeah, the squad, it was what was expected, I'll say. This was, most players there was like, yeah, that's it.
We got most of our predictions correct, didn't we?
If you watch that squad, this is what we expected. Brooke, I'll just go through Brooke, Crawley, Duckett. But a big change where I mentioned Brooke and Pope is that Brooke is now the vice captain.
I think we all expected it, especially after Rob Key's public comments.
Yeah, and that gave me an opinion about Ollie Pope as we've reached his aim first, is that now I've got a feeling they are ready to drop him. They are ready to drop him for James
100%.
They are definitely, or they're willing to talk vice captaincy of him. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going into that first game and Jacob FL is batting at 3. I would not be surprised if they don't give Ollie Pope a game. And
I completely agree with you.
The big discussion around Ollie Pope recently is that, yes, he's inconsistent, but if you compare him to other threes in the world, like in the world of cricket now, the number 3 spot is not the strongest at all, is it?
There's so many examples you could give. I mean, like, first of all, like, England's very own number 3. They've struggled with it for a while, haven't they? Especially in Test cricket.
But Ollie Pope, you look at his stats at 3. Ever since he started batting at 3 for England, he averages 42. That is very good.
Hmm.
But
I think the main issue with Ollie Pope, though, like, yes, he's inconsistent, but then, like, you'd have to delve deeper into those stats, because you have to remember, against Zimbabwe, he scored an important century, and, like, he scored a lot of runs there, but then you'd have to look deeper into those stats to see how well he did against quality teams. That's when you get a proper sample size. But, like, from what you're saying, like, yeah, like, I think it's still a toss-up, like, in my personal opinion. I don't know whether they'll rush Jacob Bethel into that number 3 slot.
I think them giving Jacob Bethel the captaincy in the recent Ireland series, I think that shows that they are ready to make that change. Giving Harry Brook the vice captaincy just shows there, even if he only played the first game, if he plays badly, that's it, he's done. They can't like drop him now because he's like they don't have the excuse with him being vice captain now. He's got no protection around him anymore. He's going to have to. If he plays the first game, he's going to have to perform really well.
Like, there's a lot more pressure on him now. Like, he's like, because I feel like there's also an element where this could potentially benefit Ollie Pope. Like, and this might be considered a hot take, but Ollie Pope doesn't have the vice captaincy anymore. So if Ben Stokes were to get injured, he won't be captain anymore. And if it does go down to this case, whether Ollie Pope, like, he does play the first game, if that happens, then he's under a lot. I mean, there is pressure, obviously, because Jacob Bethel will come in, like, if he doesn't do well. But then he also doesn't have that cloud hanging over him about vice captaincy. That can also really bring the best out of him.
Yeah, I think it's down to, like, he probably knows in his head that it's very unlikely, in my opinion, I don't know what you think, but Stokes plays all 5 games.
He's not. That's simply not possible, in my opinion.
I think he can, but I give him like a 15% chance of playing all 5 games. But that would be probably no. I could see him playing all 5 games, but not bowling in one of them.
That's the thing, though. Like, if you have Ben Stokes without the bowler, then he doesn't have that all-round aspect that makes him so good.
Ben Stokes in the end, like, let's say it's 2-2, and you go into the 5th game. Ben Stokes can't bowl. Do you think he's willing to drop himself in a 2-2 scenario?
Or 100%.
Exactly. This why. But if let's say it's 3-1 England going to the last game, and Ben Stokes batters, he won't play himself.
No, but like, I see where you're coming from, but I just don't think England will want to take that risk.
It's not. They will. No, it's wrong. They're going to take any risk possible. It's the Ashes. I understand if this was a series before, but we would take any risk possible because Ben Stokes himself, if he gets injured during the series, if he's got really bad injury after the series, but England won the Ashes, I don't think he really cared, to be honest.
Yeah, but let's say Ben Stokes did get injured. Who would you see replacing him in the 11? Who do you think has that all-round mettle?
We'll get to rest 11. So we stopped at Pope. So you got Root, Smith, Stokes, Jacob Bethel, Kors. We'll save this man to last because this is where the big debate comes in. There's a couple of debates too. With the bowling options. So you got Archer, Atkinson, Potts, Bashir, Tong, and Mark Wood. Good to see Mark Wood play again.
It's been too long. The Australians are trembling in their boots to see Mark Wood again.
But Mark Wood's great, and we all know that. But the only thing what worries me with Mark Wood, that of course he's injury prone. We all know he is. Him and Archer, but he's been. It's just he's getting old, and he's been injured for a long time now.
This could potentially be his last Ashes series.
No, it will be his last Ashes series. I don't see him making the next one. because how old is he? He's 35 already. By the time the Ashes starts, he'll be nearly 36. Will he still have that pace in him?
I mean, it'll all depend in this series. Like, we all know how important pace is in Australia. Like,
I mean, that's why I like Tong being there, because Tong is quick. Tong is.
And he also, Another thing about Josh Tongue is that he's got completely different skill sets to the English bowlers as well. Like, he's famously nicknamed the Mop. Like, he's nicknamed that for a reason. He takes out the lower order, which, like, I'm sure every Test cricket fan knows how stubborn a lower order can be.
Has struggled to do.
Exactly.
Especially since Basel started. One of the biggest struggles is taking out that lower order. It happened during the last Ashes, especially I think it was the first game of the last Ashes. Australia got it. Pat Cummins took him to the end, and it just felt like nobody could get him, and it was just a real struggle. It was like Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon took him to the end. Like, they're people who they're decent batters, but like we should be mopping those up quickly. And the low order for a reason. And that's why I like Josh Song being there, because he showed during the India series. Somehow he was England's highest wicket taker. But he showed during the reason why, because he kept on mopping up the low end.
But then also with Josh Tongue, he also has, like, we've seen it, especially in that India series, the last couple of matches, like, his bowling really turned hit or miss, didn't it? Like, he bowled outstanding deliveries, but then other balls, he offered half volleys, then, like, half trackers. It was
a fifth game I remember watching. I remember Josh Song literally bowled awful. Every single delivery was awful, but he bowled 2 Jaffers, what was unplayable. He got 2 wickets somehow. It was so weird to watch. Now,
my only concern with Josh Tongue. Whether he can consistently do it is the question. Especially, like, I know, like, India and Australia, they're very similar opponents. But then, obviously, India, they're from the subcontinent. Like, as we all know, almost every team from the subcontinent is rubbish against spin. But then Australia, like, we'll talk about the top order later on, but generally speaking, they're much better at playing spin than India are. And then, like, I don't know whether they have a weakness to paces or not, but then I'd just be very interested to see whether Josh Tongue keeps that same approach that worked against India, or whether he decides to be a bit more orthodox against Australia and do what worked for him.
Yeah. One thing about all these pace bowlers going, that I think nearly every single one of them will get a game.
100%.
The amount of injury risk, and this will be England's biggest problem. The amount of injury risks in this team is crazy.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, whenever you have a bowler that can bowl 145 plus, yes, it's amazing, and it really sets the pace running. But then that offers a lot more chances for injury. Just look at Pakistan. Look at how many injuries we've had to paces.
Yeah, Archer's had a lot of injuries, of course, loads. Woods had a lot of injuries. Atkinson's had a few injuries recently. Stoked. His body's made of, like,
paper,
yeah. No, because the paper's hard to break. Oh no, you can tear paper.
Yeah, you can tear paper. Like, he tears his hamstrings.
True. This is why it's important that people like Cos, Potts and Tong, they have not picked up injury zones. I know Potts had that one injury recently.
Like, Cos had an injury as well that got him out of the entire winter. Like, either last year or this year.
But I think, like, Potts, Tong, this why those 3, they might be very crucial, because those 3, they don't pick up injuries as much as the other 4.
Yeah. I think definitely Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, Gus Atkinson. I don't see Jofra Archer playing every single game. I reckon he'll play about 2 or 3. Mark Wood, he's not going to play every single game. He's just come back from an injury.
Axon might.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I can see Axon going all 5.
Because
currently, on form, he's England's best bowler.
Exactly. He is that England strike bowler that we talked about in in quite a few podcasts. Like Chris Wokes, he's not considered for England anymore.
But thank you. He's retired. Thank you, Chris.
Yep, he is retired.
But
And
international cricket.
exactly. And that means he's not going to be the leader of the England attack anymore. That's where Gus Atkinson steps up. Because if you look at the two and compare them, Gus Atkinson, he's a better bowler than Chris Wokes. Whether he's a better batter is up for debate, but still.
He's got a Test century.
Chris Wokes also, does he? Because Chris Wokes have a test century?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me check. He's played loads of Test cricket.
Yeah, but I think Gus Atkinson is the ideal replacement for Chris Wokes, if not an upgrade.
Yeah, I think definitely upgrade because Chris Wokes, yeah, he does have one Test century, same as Gus Atkinson. So they both got one Test century.
But we like Gus Atkinson, don't we?
I think Gus Atkinson is upgrade on Chris Wokes just because of Gus Atkinson can bowl away from England. Because we all know Chris Wokes cannot bowl away from England.
Yep.
It's great. I think I saw this that Chris Wokes had a better average in England than Jimmy Anderson. How crazy that is. That just shows how good Chris Wokes was in England.
Oh, if only this was in the Ashes in England. He could have had a chance.
He'll be going, to be honest.
Yeah.
Back to Gus Atkinson, I think the fifth test showed that we missed Gus Atkinson throughout the whole series because we had Atkinson the whole series probably beat India.
Yep. Even though it was a draw, but still.
Yeah, let's just move on to the controversial pick, what everyone's talking about. The main talking point of
this will be interesting.
And that is Will Jacks. I am not opposed of putting Will Jacks in the England squad. I'm not against it. But I am against him being a second spinner. That is my main problem with him being there. And it's not like, it's not been confirmed. It has been confirmed he's second spinner because Rob Key has said it. That he's there to be the second spinner. And I just do not. And the thing is, Rob Key also basically hints that Will Jacks will play. And this week I'm not against him being.
I'll say goodbye to Ollie Pope, definitely. Out the door.
I'm not against him being in the squad. I pointed out honourable mention going Will Jacks. I thought he could go because he's good all round.
I think I put Will Jacks in my squad. I think I did.
If Stokes pick up injury, we need another all-rounder. And Will Jacks can do that, be that other all-rounder. This is why I want to say Sam Curran, because I thought him being the backup to Stokes, I thought that couldn't work. But yeah. But my problem is him being the second spinner.
I'll let you make your point first before I come in with a counterpoint.
Him being second spinner, I completely disagree. Yes. There's three options what they could have gone with, and they didn't go with any of them. You could have gone with Green Ahmed, of course, my number one choice. He's very good with the bat. He's a good spinner. He can bowl those deliveries what most bowlers can't bowl. He's very good, and he's in great form in county championship. He's completely changed himself, and you probably thought that he was going to be in the Ashes squad. And I disagree with what Rob Key said. He said it was a risk taking Green Ahmed. I completely disagree. I don't see how he's a risk. He's proven himself. And Will Jacks hasn't played Tests or County Championship.
Yeah, but we have to remember, Rehan Ahmed, his Test career, he's played against Pakistan. Has he played against India or Australia?
I think he's played against India. He hasn't played against Australia.
I think that might be something that Rob Key kind of.
Yeah, but Will Jacks hasn't.
I'm not turning this into a point, by the way. I'm just saying this.
Will Jacks not played against Australia. He might have played it. Did he play in 2021? I don't even know if he did. He was part of a terrible team, and Key didn't perform well enough to get back in the squad.
Here's my opinion. Here's my opinion.
I'm not done.
Are you not done? All right.
Yeah, so
I can only
I would have
apologize.
gone Green Ahmed instead of him. Another day, I would have went Liam Dawson ahead of him as the second spinner. It's not, like I said, I have a problem with Will Jacks being there. My problem is him being the second spinner.
I completely
got
agree.
another spinning option, and Will Jacks can't be your backup spinning option. I know you got Jacob FL and Joe Root in there too, but they're not good enough. They're part-time spinners, both of them. And Will Jacks is another part-time spinner. So you have 3 part-time spinners, but they're counting Will Jacks as a proper spinner. I'm like, what? Then how do you even talk Jack Leach? A lot of people want to say Jack Leach, and I wouldn't mind him a second spinner because I don't even know why Jack Leach got kicked out of the England squad, personally.
Yeah.
He was good in England. He did well against Pakistan last year. Like, last year when we faced Pakistan in the 3 test matches, of Jack Leach, Bashir, and Reen Ahmed, Bashir was worse out of 3. And he's the one who's going to the Ashes as the main spinner. And when we faced India, like in 2022, you had Hartley. We took 4 spinners there. We took Hartley, Bashir, Leach, and Ahmed. Once again, the worst out of the 4 was probably Bashir or Ahmed.
Yeah.
Hartley, I don't know what happened to Hartley. To be fair. I remember when I watched the India series, I always preferred Tom Hartley, but I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, that is the reason why I'm against Will Jacks is him being second spinner. I would take him, but your second, no.
Yeah. Right. So can I make my point now?
Yes.
So, obviously, we know the only spinner that has ever done well in Australia. That's Nathan Lyon. He's a complete aberration. I don't know. Maybe he. I actually read up on Nathan Lyon. Apparently, he was a pitch curator, and he was bowling as practice, and somehow that got him selected for a domestic squad, and then it all rose from there. But an interesting little fact for you. But anyway, so I think the thinking behind Will Jacks as the second spinner, I personally disagree with it. As you said, Will Jacks, he has not played enough county championship either.
He's not a good enough spinner.
Exactly.
Either.
And I think they're basing it, the only time I can remember him doing well as a spinner, it was against Pakistan on his debut, and he took...
Yeah, in 2022, I remember it.
Yeah, that was the only time I remember him.
Reen Ahmed also played well. That one, Bashir wasn't part of the England setup at all.
Yeah.
I think we had Ahmed, Jacks, and Leach, and Ahmed and Jacks had very good debuts. I remember that, yeah.
And then also, because I think Will Jacks, he's the better batter out of all of them, isn't he? It's a tough one, isn't it? Will Jacks or Rehan Ahmed? I think we know who wins the spinner contest. Rehan Ahmed is a much better spinner, but who's the better batter?
Probably definitely Will Jacks, because Rehan Ahmed hasn't proved himself enough in white ball cricket yet to be a better batter. But red ball cricket,
this is
I'll
interesting.
edit Rehan Ahmed. That's a better test batsman. I'll go Rehan Ahmed.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree. Rehan's probably a better test batter.
I don't get it. I would have thought Will Jacks, but not the second spinner. This is my problem with Bashir too.
He can't bat.
He can't bat, exactly. You want a spinner. If you go to Australia, the biggest problem is that normally they don't spin a lot. I know Nathan Lyon can get spin, but he's the only spin bowler who people normally take, who plays in Australia and don't need to bat well. And then other spinners, you're taking a spinner to Australia, you want them to do more than just spin. You want them to be able to bat.
This is why I think they picked Will Jacks. Just because, as I've said before, Nathan Lyon, a complete aberration in Australia. This is really showing England, they don't really care about spin here. That's just my opinion. They don't care. Will Jacks is there. his batting. Rob Key just said that Will Jacks is the second spin bowler just for the sake of it. That's my personal justification for that. Otherwise, it's absolutely ludicrous. But that's the only possible reason I can think of.
Yeah, but then you say that, but why would you take Bashir out of all then?
I mean, Bashir, he's been with the England setup for a while, and like, obviously, you're not going to agree with me on this, but this was probably England's thinking, like, oh, Shoaib Bashir is tall. I reckon he's going to be really good as a tall bowler.
I hate it.
I know this was going to trigger him. That's why I said it. That was probably the thinking, even though,
because he's tall and he can.
You know my opinion on tall spinners. I don't need to repeat it. Matthew Carter, need I say any more?
Matt Carter, not Matt bloody Carter. So yeah, I'm still confident. I'm not. I really don't know what mindset to get in for the Ashes. I really don't.
Here's my opinion. I think, like, England's pacers, they're good enough in my opinion. Shoaib Bashir and Joe Root, Jacob Bethel, Will Jacks, they're surplus in terms of bowling. I think the only times that they're ever going to bowl is either as, like, say, like, I don't know, someone who's really, really bad at spin. I can't think of a exact batter. Like, you put them on, or then, like, if the matchup is correct, like, you have two right-handers on the crease, then that's the only time I could think of where they would bowl spin.
So, I think we talk about that Australia batting. Where I want to talk about the batting lineup, the top three specifically. That way I want to go in depth. So the top three. It's a big worry. The Australian fan, the biggest worry going to the Ashes right now is the batting. It's just not good.
I'm going to open up the India A squad. India A versus Australia. I want to judge it. Like, obviously, they're choosing the openers from these games. So that's why I'm opening up them right now. But continue.
Yeah, it's that top three is very worrying. Like, Usman Khawaja is not the player he used to be.
This will be his last Ashes. I don't see him going on moving forward.
Marnus Labuschagne, like, he's not been that good, has he? really not been that good in that number. Then the openers, like,
currently, there's about 4 options Australia have for their openers. 4.
McSweeney, he's not any good.
Hey, I'm trying to count down. Sam Costas, Nathan McSweeney, Jake Weatherald, and then who's the 4th one? Wait, Sam Costas, then Nathan McSweeney, Jake Weatherald, then who was that 4th one? Wait, one sec.
Is it Cooper Connolly or is he low?
No, he's middle order.
Yeah, I'm about to say I know.
I think Cameron Green. I think that was.
Jesus Christ.
So those are the 4 options.
But none of them. I don't think any of them are good enough.
There's so many different arguments you can go through. Like, I can say so many things about each of these players. Like,
right, so name again for me, because I'm looking at the amount of runs they got in the last year.
Okay, so Nathan McSweeney, Jake Weatherald.
He's got 72 runs, yeah.
You have to remember though, Nathan McSweeney came in at a difficult time against India and Australia.
I know he got 72 runs.
You need to look at more of the domestic record.
So just name him.
Alright. Sam Costas.
He got 163 runs.
Cameron Green.
Cameron Green. Yeah, that's poor. How are they even considering Cameron Green? Oh my days.
Jake Weatherald.
He hasn't played for Australia yet.
Yep, but it's his domestic record. Okay, first of all, let's talk about Sam Costas. I think everyone remembers his innings against Jasprit Bumrah in that India versus Australia. And just the way he took into Jasprit Bumrah, that was cool. It was his debut series.
That's
There
all
was a
he
lot of expectation on him. But obviously, as we've seen, as the tests have gone on, even against the West Indies in that pink ball test, in that horrid series that West Indies have had against Australia, Usman Khawaja and Sam Constas had no response. Like, Sam Constas, the issue with him is, like, I think he's trying to fit into the mold of Bazball, but obviously, because he's an Australian and he hasn't had that exposure, especially in the domestic cricket as well. Like, you have to remember, he only ever played like 5 to 10 matches for his state before getting picked by Australia. He was picked based off promise. And to this day, he doesn't have a test century. And he's played about 10-15 tests as an opener. So, the promise is there, but he hasn't delivered yet. That is the biggest issue, I think, for him. But obviously, in this India A and India A versus Australia A, he's performed in here. But I think this is too small of a sample size in order to let him into that squad. Which is why I think he'll be in the squad, but he won't be opening.
As you see, that top three is a big mess. And you got the mid orders going to have to do a lot of heavy.
We'll talk about the openers a bit more. I've got 3 more. I'll quickly speak on them. So Nathan McSweeney, like, obviously we all remember India and Australia. He did horrid in those first 2 tests, and he got released for the BBL straight after. And I think he got really hard done by. Like, Nathan McSweeney, he's not a horrid batter by any stretch of the imagination, but
I think he is. Absolutely horrible, mate.
That's a little bit harsh. But
I've watched those 2 play. I don't think any of them were good enough.
Nathan McSweeney, he was the captain of Australia A, and he got the first test. He didn't bat in the second innings. The second test, he did absolutely amazing. A 75 and an 85. That's a good score, but as I've said previously, as I have said before, that's way too small of a sample size in order to link it into a series as big as the Ashes. And if you take anything away, like, the closest, like, that Australia have had to playing against the side of quality like England has been India. And I'm basing it off that series. And Nathan McSweeney, in my opinion, he got really hard done by the fact that he only ever played the 2 tests, and the managers, like, instead of replacing Usman Khawaja, who'd been struggling long before that, they decided to give him the axe, which, whether he makes the squad or not, like, I think it's 50-50. I just don't see him opening, personally, 50-50. Right, that's Nathan McSweeney and Sam Constas out of the way, 2 more. I'm going to speak about the more underrated one first, and then I'll speak about who I think is likely to open. So, Jake Weatherald, he is the underrated one in my opinion. And the only reason he was ever thrust into this conversation to begin with was the fact he's had his best year of scoring in domestic cricket. And it's not even that. Like, piling on a bunch of runs, that's good and all. Like, obviously you need lots of runs in Test cricket, but it's the way you score them. And there was a dramatic increases in his strike rate. Like, obviously not on the levels of Bazball, but in terms of Australia, like, it really reminded them of, like, the first innings Sam Constas played. Like, and he kept that intensity up throughout the domestic season. Now, I've heard rumours going around that he could potentially, like, be a very surprise call-up for the Ashes. Whether he makes it or not is a different conversation entirely. And personally, I think he hasn't had experience against India or even England or any other Test side. He hasn't played any Test cricket. And we've talked about this point so many different times. You don't bring a debutant into a big game expecting them to perform immediately. And this is why I think Jake Weatherald does not play. He doesn't get selected. And now we have the big one. Cameron Green. This could potentially be a hot take, because if he opens, I don't know who on earth is going to be at that number 3 spot. But Oh yeah, Minus Labuschagne. Whether he's a good number 3 or not is another question entirely.
No.
Like, Australia have had this issue. They've trialled Marnus Labuschagne as opener before. They've trialled Cameron Green as opener. They've tried them in the number 3 position. The number 2 and number 3 position have been horrendous, haven't they?
Don't you remember they did try Steve Smith there from too?
Yeah, but we know Steve Smith is better in the middle order. But anyway, so Cameron Green, he's arguably been Australia's more consistent batter. I'd say out of all the batters that played in the West Indies, Cameron Green was the best one there. But the issue is, he came in at number 3. But I've seen so many different articles saying that Cameron Green could potentially open. But, currently, out of the 4 batters I've talked about, I think he's more likely to open. Especially if you want to fit in Marnus Labuschagne and you don't want to move Smith out of his preferred position. I definitely think Cameron Green should be the one to open alongside Usman Khawaja.
So, yeah, it's tough decisions for Australia. I hope they get it wrong.
You better hope they pick Jake Weatherald then. Jake Weatherald as opener.
Right. I think we should give a really, really early predictions on the result of the Ashes. We'll make proper predictions later, but early predictions.
Okay. Early predictions.
Right now.
I think at least one of the matches is going to be drawn. There's going to be at least one draw, in my opinion. But I'm honestly 3-1 to Australia.
Okay.
That's my prediction. 3-1 to Australia.
Cool. I've kind of got the other way round. 3-1 England. That one, I'm going 3-1 England.
What's your justification for that? Let's hear the numbers.
The batting. Our batting order, I think right now, is so much better than the Australian batting order. So much better. I think that batting. I just think our batting. If we want to win our Ashes, it'll be relying on our batters being on top form, and I think they will be. I think that's quite early. I think they'll be on top form. We'll finally get a century in Australia, and we'll win the Ashes 3-1.
I think Australia, but for the opposite reason, the bowling. Yeah. We haven't talked about the bowlers much.
Yeah, we've got podcasts. We've
got so many to talk about. Obviously, Pat Cummins, he's not playing the first few Ashes. Well, he's been delayed.
It might be first test only. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the best case scenario.
No, that's not. That is probably most likely the first test. That you only miss first test. Best case scenario is that he's fully fit.
But Pat Cummins, Scott Boland, no, not Scott Boland. Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and Josh Hazlewood. Australia's big 3.
Backups. That's Scott Boland as a backup.
Probably one of the best backups.
They do scare me a lot.
And then Nathan Lyon as the main spinner. Now, here's another interesting thing I wanted to mention. Obviously Nathan Lyon is your main spinner. Who do you see as Australia's second spinner?
You got that probably Todd Murphy.
But here's the thing, Todd Murphy hasn't played that many tests in a while. He's played for India A and Australia A. But
to be honest, I don't know a lot of Australian spinners because it's all the reason why is because it's always Nathan Lyon.
There's also you got Mitchell Jackson. He's out of the conversation.
You got Adam Zampa, he don't play Test cricket.
He doesn't. No. Mitchell Swepson, he played a couple matches of Test cricket, but he never really was good. Now, this is the spinner that I think Australia will pick as their second spinner. Matt Kahneman.
Yeah, now, I've seen him. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, left arm spinner. I think he's the most likely second spinner behind Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, probably.
And then it could be Nathan Lyon. No, it could be Todd Murphy or Matt Kahneman. I'm saying more Matt Kahneman, because Todd Murphy is more of a future replacement for Nathan Lyon, in my opinion.
I just remember he played last Ashes, didn't he?
Yep. Murphy.
So I think that's this Ashes content done for today. That doesn't mean we are not done yet, people. So don't click off. India, Pakistan, the final. India has won. Let's give a round of applause for India.
No.
In the last 9 games against Pakistan, it's been 9-0 to India.
They don't deserve a clap of the hands, I'm sorry.
Yes, it might have been close this time, but guess what the result was? India win.
He's taking the mick now. Wait until the Australia series. Wait until the Ashes finishes. Then that's gonna be me, and he's gonna be begging me. He's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be like, Saran, can you stop mentioning the Ashes? We lost. I get it. Watch. I'm predicting it now. I'm predicting it.
India in the last 40 last 4 ICC tournaments they played in, they've lost 1 game.
And who was the 1 game too?
Australia in the ODI World Cup final. 26 out of 27 games won. That is crazy, by the way. That just shows how much better right now India are at white ball cricket than anybody else right now. They're so much better.
And the biggest reason for that is it's got to be the IPL.
Yeah.
The amount of talent they're pumping out through there is mind-blowing.
They've got a 14-year-old kid.
Yep. I don't know if you've seen it, but he's been scoring so much for India A recently.
It's just unfair. I mean, it's not like England's asked me to play, isn't it? So, yeah, a bit unfair by play.
Yeah. Now, the Asia Cup final. This could have gone so many ways, but
it went the way to India.
Yep, it did. And honestly, the result, I don't mind it, because honestly, getting to the final was an achievement itself for Pakistan, especially considering the lows that the T20 team has been in. Like, obviously, there's a big point I want to mention at the end about India's conduct, but we'll talk about the cricket first. So, Pakistan, they've gotten into a bit of a habit, haven't they, against India? Yeah. Had amazing starts, the openers. Sabizar Khan, he's had Jasprit Bumrah's number. When was the last time you saw Jasprit Bumrah being tossed around, almost effortlessly?
James Smith.
Fair enough. But that's in Test cricket. When's the last time in white ball cricket?
I don't know if James Smith did it, but yeah.
But honestly, this was so good to see. This was the opening I think Mike Hesson is an absolute cricketing genius. He's the coach that Pakistan needed.
Yeah, but that middle order is still messed up.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, but
impatient. Shh. Good boy. Good boy.
Right, I quit focus.
He's going! Round of applause, guys! I'd like to dedicate this award to Pakistan cricket, the hat, and Rayan upstairs. What's he doing? No!
Wait. You have called me good boy. Right, so I'll just let's finish the pod. Bloody hell. Right, go.
Right, so what was I talking about again?
In the Pakistan final day.
Okay. Obviously, Pakistan's start was really impressive, and this has become a bit of a norm against India, like I've mentioned previously. Now, I'm so happy that Sabizar Khan has had Jasprit Bumrah's number. That's very important. What I did notice today as well, they tackled the spinners a lot better, because in the first 2 T20Is they played, they kept sweeping, reverse sweeping, slog sweeping. The thing about these spinners are, Kuldeep Yadav and Varun Chakravarti, you need to play on the back foot, which I realized Pakistan did really well. Sabizar Khan in particular. He's by far Pakistan's best batsman right now. Like, there's no doubt about that. Fakhar Zaman as an opener, he hasn't had the aggressiveness that he has had previously. But what I am noticing is consistency. And that, like, obviously consistency you associate with the Rizbar era, but, like, when it was the first 6 overs, it felt like a Rizbar score. 40 for 40 something after 6 overs, but they accelerated. And they were about 90 for nothing after 10 overs. And they got to the 12th over, and it was 110 for none. But then I don't think anyone could have predicted what would happen with
I
that.
think because we literally saw it in the last game, basically. Not as bad, but we have seen multiple times in the Asia Cup. Pakistan middle order collapsing.
Yeah, it was a middle order collapse. Like,
Again.
this was on air. Like, I think it was Wasim Akram who said this was one of the worst collapses he has seen in T20 cricket.
Such good position.
And I think it's down to the middle order batsmen of choice. Now, they made, like, obviously, the batting order, I feel like they made a good decision by having Saim Ayub and Mohammad Haris at 3 at 4. But Salman Agha, I'm sick of him. I'm really sick of him. Like, I'm genuinely considering they have to bring one of Rizwan or Baba back, and they have to integrate them into a middle order player, because Salman Agha, that is not it. Like, I've been very vocal about my opinions on him. You've heard them as well. He does not deserve the Pakistan captaincy. And I'm going to speak about a blunder later on as well that he made that arguably cost Pakistan the entire match, but he is not it. Like, his batting has been poor. Like, his captaincy has been poor. He hasn't even been bowling. What is he there to do apart from laying eggs like a chicken? That's literally the only thing that he's done. He's laid big fat eggs, or ande, as we call them in Pakistan. And he's got many of them. He's got many ducks. Golden ducks. And, obviously, Hussein Talat did really well in the last game. That's why... But, they've said this on air as well. They had a shot they wanted to play in mind before the ball was even bowled. This is the biggest difference between India and Pakistan. Like, we'll speak about India a bit later, but Pakistan, they're not learning. They haven't learned from their mistakes. Like, almost everyone was stunned by the manner in which they collapsed. It was stunning. That's how bad it was.
That's what coming by Kunjarai. So the Indian batting, good batting.
At the start, it wasn't very good batting. At the start, it was horrendous.
No, but they show why they're such good nation and just always.
It really showed the big difference. Like, Pakistan's bowling is so good. Like, it's really good. Like, probably, I'd say...
Harris Ralph, I got to criticize Harris Ralph alone that game. Poor bowling from him, I'll say.
It was poor. He had a complete off day. But aside from Harris Ralph, like, I'd say the rest of the bowlers, top class, elite. Shaheen Afridi is back to his best. He is breathing absolute fire. And Fahim Ashraf, like, I've said this before on the podcast as well. I think Fahim Ashraf is an amazing player, and he's proved it tonight as well. Like, especially... No,
that's Monday, so
on the match.
That's the last night.
But, like, obviously he's proved himself. The first ball to get rid of Abhishek Sharma, he never saw coming. It was a slower ball that was outside off. Abhishek Sharma, he likes to play on that leg side. So obviously, he wafts at it like a broken leg. He wafts at it, and the ball goes flying in the air. Obviously, my first thought was, someone's gonna drop it. Like, you know it's Pakistan cricket, you always expect the worst. But lo and behold, they didn't. Abhishek Sharma, India's biggest threat in that batting order, was gone for very little. And Shubman Gill, the second highest run scorer, he was also gone by Fahim Ashraf as well. He picked out both of the openers just like that. And this is why I think, if Pakistan bring back one of Rizbar, I genuinely think it's a much better team. Because the batting looks more solid.
Much better team, yeah. So, let's say they do bring one of them back. Do you think you can win the T20 World Cup?
That's a bit of a. Seeing this Pakistan squad in a T20 tournament, yes, I wouldn't know. I'd have to.
You want to say yes. I know you want to say yes.
No, I don't want to say yes. I'm being realistic here.
You want to say yes. I can tell you want
I
to say
don't.
yes. You think after that India game from last night, you think you had.
No, I really don't.
You think you have a
I
chance.
really don't. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're lying.
I'm really not.
You definitely think people want to sue back. You've got a chance.
No. I think before I go into delusion mode, and before I would have gone into delusion mode, but now, because this is a fresh Pakistan side, the batting lineup is a lot more youthful. Obviously, these batters are out of form. That's the issue. When these batters are in form, then I think we have, I think they can compete against some of the top teams. But I'd have to, first of all, we have to see after the 2026 World Cup. After that, you can get a good gauge for how this Pakistan team can roll. Because I genuinely think bringing back one of Babar Azam or Mohammad Rizwan is a must at this point. That middle order is about as brittle as my toenail.
Speak about Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam. One thing what I've seen from Pakistan fans, including yourself, is that how much you switch upon them. Like, one moment you want them gone, one moment you want them back. You should not make your mind up. What will you have to make your mind?
No, I think loads of people agreed that Barbaran was one. This time last year, loads of people agreed.
Yeah, but then now people want back. It's just like
it's because we've seen Pakistan play for a while now. They've had a good sample size at this point. Between now and then, obviously, we saw before that the consistency. It was very hit or miss. That was the issue. But then, obviously, we have this new opening partnership. The opening partnership isn't a concern anymore. That's not a concern. That's where everyone was looking previously. Everyone was looking at Babar and Rizwan. And even before that 2024 World Cup, we trialed Saim Ayub. We tried him. He was in such a bad rut of form that we had to bring Rizwan back. We had to bring Rizbar back. There was no choice at that point. We couldn't support Ayub anymore.
My thing is keep on bringing players back in and back out. If you look at England.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, that point I can agree with.
This is why you're not. This is why I don't think you're not going to have any chance of winning anything, because you keep on dropping players in and out. You can't make decisions on the squad.
This is because England. When was the last time they changed their selector?
England.
No, answer my question. When was the last time?
So we've had Rob Key since, I want to say, since Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum came in.
Who was before that?
I don't remember.
Exactly. Rob Key has been there for the last 2-3 years. Now, for Pakistan, we've had 5 or 6 different selectors and 5 or 6 different managers. That's why so many players have been dropped, brought back, because the issue stems from the top, and it was bound to catch up to Pakistan at some point.
Again, it's creating that same problem of bringing people in and out.
Exactly, and they're going to change the selection committee again after this tournament, because after that humbling from India 3 times, I don't see them continuing. Obviously, Mohsin Naqvi, he's the ACC president now. He's not going to be dropped as the...
If I give you an example of how England don't do that, I know we brought back Sam Curran, but that's because he's got good form. If I see you lot, you're just bringing people in and out to try. And we Johnny Bearso, he's been kicked out. He's not coming back. That's it now.
This is the difference between England and Pakistan. England, they're a lot more settled. They don't have any geopolitical tensions. They don't have to worry about that. They're not mixing politics with cricket. With Pakistan, it's a completely different ballgame. You can't compare the two simply because of how strained and corrupt and just the way that politics are in Pakistan. There's no comparison between the two. You can compare the dropped players and bringing them back, but then that's because of the selection committee that's been picked by the higher ups. And that's the issue with Pakistan, the geopolitical tensions, especially I feel like the players have been so this is not an excuse, by the way, not an excuse for how Pakistan have played, but just the way that all the noise on the outside, obviously all of the hype around India and Pakistan. This was not positive hype. This was make or break, because obviously it's gone viral. India did not take any handshakes from Pakistan the entire tournament, and they didn't even take the trophy from Mohsin Naqvi. And it's disappointing from India, isn't it? I genuinely think that's disrespecting cricket and spirit of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Because thing about cricket is,
expert of the spirit of the game, of course. You know, we're just like, yeah, we like to call out people against the spirit of the game, and India's done it multiple times before.
Mm-hmm. But India, they've permitted. I mean, I can't say anything for Pakistan, the amount that we've mixed politics into cricket, but we've kept that strange geopolitical relationship out. Because guess what? We visited India in 2023 for that ODI World Cup. And what did India do? They decided not to come over for the Asia Cup in that 2024 season. They didn't even come for the Champions Trophy either. And it's just the way in which they conducted, the manner in which they were doing. In an interview with Salman Agha, basically what he said was he didn't blame the Indian team at all, and I think that's valid in some cases, but it's the higher ups. India want nothing to do with Pakistan. If they had their way, they would boycott the entire tournament. They would boycott every match with Pakistan.
People call us we hate India. We don't. We just think that we just sort of talk about cricket perspective of how you got to be respectful of the pitch. We're not going to that deep dive into all the political. So we're just you got to show respect on a cricket pitch. And
exactly.
That clearly, I know that Pakistan was banned from hosting cricket stuff for a long time because of what happened, and that's very understandable. But multiple countries have now gone to Pakistan and proved it's safe, and plus,
exactly,
there'll probably be. So it's either what the ICC can do about India not showing up to this stuff.
But the ICC is not going to do anything, are they?
Yeah, no, but it's either two things they do: is continue how it's going. So this is what I think they should do: either kick India out of the tournament if they're not willing to show up. I know they won't, but this is what they should do. Kick India out of tournaments if they're not willing to show up. Or just not have tournaments in Pakistan. I know that's going to disappoint Pakistan fans, but if that's the only way you can make India show up, and they're going to want India to show up because they're the biggest Christian nation there is, you just can't have cricket tournaments in Pakistan, and that's bad because they've showed it safe. England's been there twice now since all this stuff changed, and nothing's bad happened to England.
They're really trying to alienate Pakistan, aren't they, India? They're really trying to alienate them. Obviously, this isn't an excuse either, but almost every other nation, they have players playing in the IPL. Pakistan don't get that exposure to IPL, which is arguably, after international cricket, the biggest stage you can perform on. And that has the highest quality. Pakistan don't have that. They can only play in the Pakistan Super League, and then for any other team that India doesn't own. This is my issue with the 100 and how Indian management have bought the 100. You will not see any more Pakistan players in the 100. You might see a few.
You might do, but not.
You're not going to see as many as say that one season where Welsh Fire had Shaheen Afridi and Harris Ralph.
There won't be teams owned by IPL owners, so it still could be Trent Rockets for on.
I hope so. Imad Wasim at Trent Rockets, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed that.
He was it, yeah, he was very good too.
Mm-hmm.
But Trent Rockets, we're not going to talk about that because I might get a bit sad.
Yeah. So obviously there's been a bunch of India-Pakistan stuff. Luckily, we don't have to speak about this until the next tournament.
Right. Yes. So I think, is that where we're going to end today?
I think that's the best place to end today.
Well, I've just got a quick thought. Yeah, I will say, before I get to that quick thought, thank you for watching, of course. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that stuff. But I've heard about this other podcast. The guy who like filmed all this stuff, yeah, for us, help us
Oh
like
yeah.
edit all that stuff. He's trying to take us down. But they're not talking about cricket though, so I'm a bit confused. That they can take us down.
Take us down.
Yeah,
Us.
yeah.
I think they know that's never gonna happen. We're the OGs on top.
No, they won't. I don't think they'll ever take us out. I don't think we'll ever show training either.
No, I didn't put Sonny Baker in. It was between Josh Tong or Sonny Baker. It was between those two.
I wish I had a podcast.
Wait. Yo, what are you telling me, yeah? What, you want to start a podcast? Yeah, right, go on then. What's this? Yo, what are you telling me? Oh wait, let me do that again, wait.